The finals just had its brand new World Tour update with patch 5.10. We'll go over all the new details there with that, which does lead us onto some additional social updates and a fix specifically for the controllers. Oscar gives us some small insider information on some of the details, which will lead us onto some community updates, as well as a whole bunch more. What's up world, it's Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things the finals. Okay, so first up, as always, we'll go over the World Tour update, what that brings us. And yes, of course, this was from CNS themselves. Now they certainly do like to keep it short with these, or at least the way they drop updates and their .infos. So of course they do showcase here the hacked arenas, which are Fortune Stadium, Bernal, Cis Horizon, Skyway Stadium, Monaco, and Seoul. So decent setup for rotation there, and it looks like Kyoto is no longer in the mix. Of course, they did bring back the classic Cis Horizon, and they all have some decent cosmetic changes there. Now, they do have a closing statement here saying, "We are CNS, we are ready, accept the challenge, you have nothing on us." They also did drop their teaser trailer, which I'll showcase off a little bit here.
Gothi? Can you hear me?
Good evening. We are CNS.
Hello?
We are still here.
If you want to check that out in its entirety, I'll leave a link to it down below. As someone mentioned here in the teaser trailer, they do have a section here saying "we are ready," which could mean that they're leaning towards war, or that they're warring on the current games. We'll have to see what that brings us. It does more than likely look like we're going to get them for Season 6. Of course, with TDM and how Terminal Attack came out, that ended up being a permanent mode. So I would say it is safe to assume that TDM would be a permanent mode, although we don't know that for sure, as it is just an LTM or considered a limited time mode. So again, nothing concrete there, but putting everything together, it does look like that more than likely is the case. Next up here, we actually did have some insider stuff from Oscar, and he did talk about this on the community livestream. So essentially, he was toying around in the practice range, and there is currently a new bug that's going around, but he gave some details on how the practice range actually works, and it seems like you queue into a 10-player lobby. So essentially, when you queue up for practice range, it will put you with 10 other players. Now, of course, you cannot see these other players, but they are in their own practice range. Again, people have glitched out to see the other players before. They have fixed all of that as of now. But that is why the timer at the top is actually different depending on when you queue. Now, if it's a brand new lobby, I think it's usually around 30 minutes. But this can chunk all the way down to around 17, and even lower to 15 minutes. Although Oscar did point out that there is currently a new bug. So essentially what happens is if you do get backfilled, or if you do get placed into a lobby that already has a full 9 setup there and you are the 10th member, and the timer has ticked down a bit, you might actually get put on the team with the dummies, or the target dummies. That's why they are blue for some people instead of being red. Now, he was also surprised that the target dummies were red now. There is no blue target dummies. Typically on the side here, there is 2 blue target dummies and 2 red, and now there's only 4 red target dummies. So essentially there is some bug there. There's also that backfill bug, which you might be on their team. All around quite funny there, but that does seem like maybe that is tied in with that bug there. That's also essentially why people have been able to get out of practice range and actually down and eliminate other players, as you do get loaded into a 10-player lobby. That's pretty cool to hear. I didn't really know that detail. I'm sure they haven't really talked about that much. Speaking of Oscar, we do have another detail there, but really this is an update, although this one only pertains to controllers. And essentially they accidentally changed the current layout for all existing controller players. But there is some good news there. You can actually get all of your settings back. You'll have to head to the settings panel and then go to controller and hit restore default. Find the communication wheel or inspect wheel, which is on double tap, and then bind that to the D-pad up. You can also go to gadget and bind that to the D-pad down. That should get you to the original layout as it was before. So they have fixed that D-pad layout issue that people were having, although again you will need to restore the defaults of that and then switch those 2 keybinds. After that point, I assume you will need to rebind all of your stuff there if you have changed it. Speaking of some official updates, they did actually drop the new Season 5 highlight. Now this did actually drop a couple of days ago, but of course you can check out all the clips. I will link to that Season 5 highlight video. Again, another very decent highlight video, and this one's actually quite long. We also have some additional official updates, and these pertain around the social aspect of the game. So first up here, we actually did have a Jungle Rumble tournament that did launch today at 11 a.m. CST, 12 p.m. EST, 9 a.m. PST. I did tune in for a second or two and looks like they were casting it, although unfortunately it looks like the VOD is not up on the Twitch, and they don't have anything on their YouTube side of things. Again, I hope they do publish that. I will link to it down below if you gotta check it out, if they do at least eventually publish it. But as of right now, there isn't anything on that that side. We do have one more official social update there, and this does actually pertain to the same thing, which is another Esport Pro League. Now again, this is another community-led one, and they are from the Pro Hubs server and Pro Hubs community and Discord group. Now again, of course, they do have some casters, developers, and designers, so pretty cool there. Again, I'll link down to all of their socials. They are starting the Season 0 Pro League here, which consists of 12 NA and EU teams. Now this does have a $500 starting pot, and qualifiers will begin on March 1st. All the sign up and details are here in the links. I'll include a link to the Reddit post so you can check out their explainer video and their March 1st qualifier. That way you can sign up by then. So pretty cool there, we are getting some more community-led tournaments. As you know, we are very close to those majors that are dropping. That should happen through Twitch, and that's going to be through Official Embark. So that will essentially be the first official run tournament with a prize pool. Last up here, of course, we do have those community mentionables. With this first one here, a quite interesting idea for the stun gun revamp. Now this is pure speculation here, but they do pinpoint that it will be a realistic way for the stun gun to be reworked. Essentially, it'll work just like it does in real life, and that the player will have to hold the trigger down in order to keep the shock flowing, and the target then stunned. This will add some team play mechanic essentially, and that way you cannot solo use it. You have to switch off the weapon and the effect will end. Now more than likely there'll probably be some type of cooldown tied in there, as you shouldn't be able to permanently stun somebody. I do think that's a very unique way to think about it. More than likely that does make a lot of sense, as you wouldn't be able to swap off the stun gun. Now there are some players who are worried that they might never bring back the stun gun, just like what happened to Recon. However, I do think they'll eventually bring this back, especially probably more than likely with the beginning of Season 6. At least that's my assumption there. Again, nobody really knows for sure, but I do hope that they give us an update sometime soon on that. Last up, of course, we do have those community mentionables from my community, where we do have those features from the star model page. This first one here comes from Hypnomaniac, and it, yes, is in the theme of CNS. He mentions probably definitely not a CNS infiltrator, essentially a VIA employee. I think this one's pretty cool there and has some fun playing with the game, especially its sponsors. Next up here we have Advance, who shows off spreading the aggressive love. Now this was around the time of February 14th or Valentine's Day. I've been doing some catch up and allowing that page to kind of build up, at least with Star Models page. Again, if you want to post yours to Finals Runway, you might have a chance to get featured on here, and I'll be sure to keep up with it more. This outfit is really cool overall though, and a nice mix and batch there. That should cover it for today's video. If you like and subscribe, and until the next one. Deuces.